Hey everybody. I want to talk about mindfulness today because I'm finding that through my videos, that's what I get a lot of questions about. What is mindfulness? How do I utilize mindfulness in my day-to-day life? How does it benefit me? And then a lot of very specific questions about specific situations and how to apply mindfulness in those specific difficult situations. So today I was listening to a Dharma talk. I'm not Buddhist, but I spend a lot of time and energy learning about Buddhism and the mindsets that they teach. And so I was listening today about the negative energies and the positive energies that we spend. And I realized that I don't think people understand this fundamental fact that humans are beings of energy, and we all have a certain amount of energy, and life is about how you spend that energy and where that energy is being focused. When you have a negative situation that occurs, or, for example, divorce is something that I recently have been experiencing. It calls forth certain energies from you, and you have a certain amount of energy that you have to decide where you're going to place that energy. So let's imagine that you have 100 points of energy, and that's you. That's who you are. That's your being. That's you, is 100 points of energy. Let's just imagine. Those negative energies require more energy use than positive energies. So we don't really need directions on how to handle joy and how to handle excitement and how to handle pleasure and things like that. Some do, obviously. I'm not cutting everybody out of this, but that's not usually where people struggle. Where people struggle is, how do I handle depression? How do I handle anxiety? How do I handle heartbreak? How do I handle loss? And these negative emotions that these things bring forward. So when we talk about mindfulness, that is focusing on how much energy you are spending on these different places in your life. Are you spending a lot of energy focusing on your depression and all of the bad things that are happening right now? Or are you focusing more of your energy on what you have left to be grateful for in your life? There's a balance in all things, and it's really tricky trying to figure out where that balance is and how to experience that balance and how to manipulate that balance and keep your life in order. And I understand that. And that is why I do what I do. That's why I speak about what I speak about, because it's difficult. It's hard. We all struggle with it. And some of us have figured out a little faster than others how to balance those things and how to manipulate that balance so that it is balanced instead of out of balance, where you've got more energy spent on these really heavy emotions than on the happier emotions, the more light emotions. So you have these 100 points. Mindfulness is when you drop your coffee and you have 10 points of your energy that immediately fly into this situation and get upset and get flustered or irritated or whatever those negative emotions are. Now, mindfulness is the focus that you have mentally on how many points of energy you're spending on this moment. Because some people get cut off in traffic or whatever, and instead of spending 5 or 10 points of their energy, they spend 40 points of their energy on being cut off, and it just ruins their whole day. And that's rough, because that's your energy, and that's precious energy. And mindfulness is looking at that situation as quickly as you can and saying, I just spent 40 points of my energy in that moment on being cut off in traffic or dropping my coffee. I'm going to spend 5 more points of my energy right now and let it go. And then I'm going to take my energy points and start putting them towards whatever's next. That's mindfulness in a nutshell. Learning to see and be aware of where you're spending your energy, your soul's energy in each moment of each day. And then not only noticing where you're spending it, but being able to change it and being able to focus your energy in a better, positive direction. That's going to make every day so much easier and so much more pleasant and so much better when you can have that flexibility with your energy and with your awareness. Another point that I want to bring up while we're on the topic of mindfulness and energy and where you're spending your energy. A lot of people struggle with self-esteem, and that is directly tied to where you're spending your energy. What space are you taking up? So again, we're going to talk about this 100 points of energy that you have. Obviously, this isn't real, just so you can understand. So you have 100 points of energy. Let's say you have to go to the mall by yourself and you're uncomfortable with that. Why are you uncomfortable with being alone in a public situation? A lot of the times it's because people are spending their points of energy taking up someone else's space instead of taking up your own space. So what that means is when I walk through a mall, I'm not sitting there imagining what other people think I look like as I'm walking by. I'm focusing on being in my space with my energy. My 100 points of energy are in my space. Some people, though, will put their energy in other people's space and imagine what somebody else might think of my outfit right now. Oh, I look so weird today, or my hair's messy, or I'm not wearing any makeup. And it doesn't even matter what these strangers think of you, but some people they don't have that mindfulness figured out quite yet. And so they're letting all of this energy out into other people's space and trying to look at themselves from other perspectives and other directions instead of being in their own space. And that's exhausting because you still only have 100 points of energy. So when you're spending 50 points of energy walking through the mall, imagining what everybody else thinks of you or what everyone else is looking at or what everyone else is doing, this is something that empaths struggle with. What is everyone else experiencing? Taking up space in other people's space instead of being in your own space. Then by the end of that mall trip, you're exhausted because you just spent 50 points of your 100 points of energy on people you don't know. But even if you did know, you're spending that in someone else's space instead of your own space. So you are left with only 50 points of energy because you're spending that other 50 points elsewhere on what everybody else thinks. So going out into public is exhausting, and it causes anxiety and it causes depression because you don't have enough points left over for yourself to enjoy walking through the mall. I hope this helps kind of explain. It's a very, very 2D explanation. So if you have further questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions, make another video if I need to. But I hope this understands kind of a starting point for what mindfulness is. Keep in mind where you're spending your energy, and keep in mind that you only have so much energy. Where is it worth it for you to spend your energy in someone else's space versus taking that time for yourself to live and breathe in your own space with your energy? And then where are you focusing your energy as far as emotions go? I hope this helps. It's time to connect.